Well, Bill, what do you take out of that? I mean, South Fremantle sort of hung tough, and you would have expected them to, but you were able to sort of eke out a fairly gritty win that cements you in second spot on the ladder.
Yeah, look, I was really disappointed early on. I think they kicked 3 first quarter goals, and
They're all free kicks.
yeah, and we speak about that, and they're all there. So it's not the fact that they got 3 goals kicked from free kicks, and the fact whether they duck or don't duck, lead with their head or don't lead with their head. We've tried over the period of the year, probably for a couple of years, to try and minimise that. The rules will say that it's us that need to protect the bloke going for the ball. But once we got on top of that and stopped them spreading from their stoppages, I thought we started to control the game quite well. Then it was probably only our accuracy in the second half. Tyler missed a couple from gettable range. And we missed 3 from the pocket. Mind you, you still have to screw them around your body, but Lynch, Meadows and Patente missed 3 goals from probably a combined total of 10 metres out from goals. So it became a little harder than I think it needed to be. But South are a good side. They defend hard. I watched them last week against Subi. They were able to negate their run. I thought, there was a lot of congestion today, and it was good to come out with a win.
Aside from the finishing that you talked about, you must have been happy that you pretty much dominated the entire second half, and if you could have kicked straight, you probably played better than them by probably 6 or more goals, but the score didn't show it. But you must have been happy with the way you played.
Oh, we've been pretty happy the way we're playing. We know that there's still some areas of the game that we need to improve on, and I thought our ball use today at times, first quarter, and then probably later in the game, we kept trying to switch the ball when the conditions probably didn't really suit that. So yeah, we're relatively happy where we are playing the game. And we've had some ins and outs. Marcus continues to improve, but has had an interrupted season. Cody's missed a couple of games. Tyler's only new. Joe Morrow comes back after not playing much league footy over the last 3 or 4 years, and we think he can play. But I thought collectively as a group, if we were the under-9s coach, I'd probably say team effort as to what was done today. So I was really proud of the way the boys did that against what is, I think, good opposition.
You mentioned Cody Manning. He's probably almost your most important player, just with his presence and his kicking on goal when he gets the chances. He doesn't miss, and he was a big inclusion. Yeah,
look, he's a fantastic competitor. Does kick the ball nicely. Luke Meadows is very similar. We think Matt Johnson has got similar traits, although he probably doesn't attack the person with the ball as hard as those 2 guys. Chris Shannon's growing as a player. I think, I'm not sure what the final numbers were, but I think we only had 11 of our 2013 premiership side out there. So it's amazing in 18 months the turnover we've had. And it's basically a whole new forward line, and the players, that takes a little bit of getting used to. And Mike Lowry continues to provide a target, but not everything's going his way, and he was probably out 3 or 4 times today and didn't get used. So we think there's significant improvement in that half, and we just got to keep defending well and kicking winning scores.
Adams and Rodder down back didn't let Suller or Pullman get into the game at all. They did a great job.
Yeah, look, they're both big, strong, strapping young lads, and they like playing close together, and I think physically that you're going to get a good contest out of them. I thought Luke Tedesco and Stephen Brown today at ground level were fantastic. I thought the other guys down back were good, but I think we were solid. I think give up only 3 goals after half time, so 8 for the day. I think 8-8 or something like that. That's a pretty good effort, whilst having 26 or 27 scoring shots yourself. So really happy with the work of the big guys down back and the smalls.
With how tight the competition is, how important is it to get a little bit of a jump or a bit of a break in second spots there chasing the pack?
Oh, of course it's important. I guess the hard part is that in a competition where the fixture isn't an even fixture, we've now got 9 games to go, and 2 of them against Claremont and 2 of them against Swans. So the fixtures keep showing up, different things every week. I would have, if you were allowed to bet and you were a betting person, you would have thought last week that we wouldn't have held on to second spot with a bye, and we did. So all we can do and all we can continue to tell the players is focus on what we can control, and that's a cliche that all coaches will use, but that's the crux of it. Now, I think 10 will probably get you in the finals, and 12 or 13 will probably sell off the top 2 or 3 spot. It looks like Subi going to be hard to catch, but you never know. But so there's a number that we're trying to get to, but we're doing that a step at a time, and we're lucky now with our fixture. We could see it as a negative, but our fixture is that we've got another bye, and that's 3 and 6 weeks. So we've just got a little mini season, and today was tick South Fremantle, and next week we'll come out and have a crack at Subi, and it'll probably give us a good indication where we sit in the bigger scheme of things.
I was going to say, it sets you up for a pretty exciting top of the table clash, and we know Subi are rock solid, so you might learn a bit more about your team.
Yeah, look, I watched them go South last week, and it was good. I had an eye on 2 sides, so it killed 2 birds in 1 stone. I think a lot of sides are just trying to clog it up, but Subi kind of gets you just with the weight of numbers and big bodies, and they're not kicking huge scores to win at the moment. So that's a conundrum for us. Do we try and close it in and make it a slog, and probably don't kick enough to score, or do we continue? It's funny. Probably the last 2 or 3 years, all we've focused on is defence, and the competition is probably a competition based on defence. We're trying to probably do a little bit of the opposite. We're trying to find ways to score. But you look at the scores, I think Subi won 75-38 today. Our game wasn't high scoring, albeit we could have kicked a bit straighter and got to probably 80 or 90 points. But all the other games, I don't think they were huge scores again, and that seems to be, I wouldn't want Subi South, and 66-44 on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. The Peel game for us was a real refreshing game, but we did kick well on goals in both of them. So exciting times, and the players will embrace the challenge of this week.
Just a line on Joe Morrow. At what stage do you know that he would be playing? A broken bit of a knee issue, but you see he hasn't played much in the last 2 to 3 years, so given all that, he made the most of his chances today.
Yeah, look, it was a little bit of a quirk. We were really worried about a couple of things. The weather, we didn't know how bad that was going to be. And then we were a little iffy as to whether Pullman would play and whether they'd bring Branchy and a few other things like that. So I didn't actually make the final decision on the last person until about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And the other guys in line, were sweating on that as well. So he's worked hard. He's a natural athlete. He doesn't need much to come on in terms of fitness. We think at his very best he can play. So it's been a steady build. I think he's played 4 or 5 in the reserves after not doing basically any pre-season. A couple of trips to the doctor, and we all just want Joe Morrow to play extended periods, and people can see that the potential we've always seen in him.
What's his injury issue been?
Last year it was basically he had a fat pad bursa. I think they're both used. I think they're the same. So every time he landed on his knee, it was painful. So as long as he didn't fall over or go to ground, he was right. As soon as he did, then it would blow up 3 times the size and it would just bleed. So he had a little bit of an operation to either trim that off or repair it. I don't know exactly what it did. And then that just meant that pretty much the whole pre-season was ruined because he couldn't run. And then he tried to come back, landed on it a couple of times, it still flared up, and so it's just been a constant management thing. And we were buoyed by what he did today. He didn't set the world on fire, but he did enough to suggest he's going to be useful for us, especially given that Kerr and Jones both now really doubtful to play for the rest of the year. And just on that, we're not really sure. We're still exploring a couple of things. The easy thing with those two is, yes, the season's finished and we can just go down one path. But we think with 8 or 9 weeks of the season left before finals, that we should be exploring everything to make sure that the season's not a write-off. But those two, Joe can probably play tall back and outside mid, so his versatility will be really useful for us.